Hey, welcome to Tough Guys. On this episode, we are actually building just a simple shelf in our kind of office slash media room in our house. And we just need a small shelf to house like the soundbar and an Xbox One. So I'm gonna go through the process of kind of what we came up with and putting it together and getting it mounted to the wall slash the desk that's underneath it. Normally I don't show the process of what I'm trying to build. I normally do a quick sketch. I figured why not show really quick what I'm trying to accomplish on paper. I'll go inside and pull the measurements, but just to kind of help visualize this, we've got that little plug it's got like a surge protector on the wall in front of it hanging in there. And basically from that point all the way to the corner of the wall, I'm wanting to build the shelf. Let's say this is the corner, and then you've got the bottom of the TV is somewhere up here. So I basically want to have the top shelf would be, you're gonna have the Xbox sitting on that, and you're gonna have the little NES unit that we've got there, maybe some room for some other stuff. But then I wanted to kind of build it in a shape like this. And inside of this cavity here, I want to have that sound bar. And then that's my idea. And then underneath it, I'm going to use those pipe pieces to create kind of an L shape support. So it looks like from the side that the pipe pieces are holding it up, but also in the back side of this hollow section, I'm going to put a 1x support going across the back that'll be hidden by the soundbar. So not all of the weight will be on these, but that's how I kind of wanted it to look. So that's a quick rundown of what it's going to look like. I need to go inside and I'll pull the measurements for, my total distance this way. And I already know my thickness is going to be 12 inches. I measured that previously, so I already know that, but I do need to get the length here to know the total width of the board, and then also show you guys the pipes. Here's inside the office. This is a disaster area right now. It is just totally messy, but so basically there's that plug box I was talking about, and then the shelf will kind of go across this opening. And we've got the Xbox, that stuff's got to go up there. The little NES is going to go up there. So basically that's the plan. I'm just going to grab this measurement and then we'll go back out to the shop. That ended up being 56 inches. That is the width that we're going to use on this. Let me show you those pipe brackets that I'm talking about making. Here are the brackets. These are already assembled. I just kind of put them together just to test it out. So this piece right here would be going onto the bottom of the shelf like this, and then the shelf would sit on these, and this side goes to the wall, kind of attached to the wall, and then this part would be holding up the shelf. Again, I'm going to have that 1x on the back just to verify. We've got a 6-inch piece and a 3.5. So a 3.5, a 6, an elbow, and then 2 floor flanges. That's what these are called. These pieces here, just floor flanges. Here's one of those still in the plastic. 1/2-inch black floor flange. I got these from Lowe's. The pipe the same. That's everything here. Now we're going to work on putting that shelf together. Now the first thing I did as I went through some of the lumber that we have here at the shop, I do not have what I need. So we're going to take a quick run to the hardware store, pick up some lumber as well as some stain for the top. We want to match that desk that's underneath it, which I'll show you once we're inside. Why is it that all the lumber, if you ever at a store to get lumber, it is so bad? Tell them how bad it is. How bad is all this lumber?
It's horrible, and he said these look oogly.
Oogly, yeah. Yeah, they're just... This is a pretty good example of what we are looking at. Yeah, not what we want, right? No. We think we found a couple of good ones. We're gonna try these out. And we just need some furring strips for the backside supports. Do you want to get a couple of those?
Yeah. How many?
We just need 2. Get two that work?
Yeah.
Okay, load them in. All right, we got the lumber. Now we're gonna keep going.
Try.
I have not. I just realized that I never come to Lowe's. I'm always in Home Depot. I'm completely lost. Where is the stuff we need, man? Here's the right section, the black iron pipe center. Lowe's actually has this set up pretty nice. Home Depot's about the same. Your galvanized and stuff's over here if you're looking for that style. In this case, we just needed the black, so we're gonna grab all the pieces that we need. And this is the 1/2 inch floor flange piece that's gonna attach to the bottom and the top. All right, we got the lumber back here in the garage, and this is just the low end stuff, so it's not going to be in great shape. In fact, we've got a couple staples, stuff like this to clean up. Basically, I need to cut them down to about 5 feet long. They're about 6 foot long now, and these are for the underside supports. So I'm going to get everything cut down, measured out, and get ready to start putting it together. Our next step is to cut down the length of these two boards. These are going to be the top and the bottom boards. These are both 1x12s. I need to cut them down to 56 inches. So we're going to cut those first, and I'm actually going to stain them before I start putting it together, just because I want to make sure the inside of that little opening is stained, and I'll just touch up whatever I need to touch up if I scar it at all during the build process. Got the rigid cordless circular saw. This is the Gen 5, Gen 5X. If you wanted to take a look, we've got a video for this as well, kind of a review. I guess it's kind of ongoing. We love it so far. We're gonna use this to make the cuts. All right, so we got both the boards cut down to size 56 inches. So the next thing, I'm just gonna sand them really fast. I've got a little Makita sander, I'll show you guys. We're gonna sand them down, and I'm gonna get them stained before I start to put them together, just because of that inside gap where the soundbar is gonna go. I don't wanna have to mess with trying to stain the inside of that after I put it together. So that is the next step. Let's do that. And I realize it looks ridiculous with my beard sticking out of the bottom. RZ mask, they're awesome. Wear glasses, the whole drill, but check out RZ masks, man. They're really great. I love them. It's awesome. Go get one. All right, so the next step is we're gonna get this thing stained. And let me show you what we're gonna use. We're gonna use the Varathane Dark Walnut. As you can see, we've used this a few times. It's one of our favorite colors, so we're gonna check that out. And then we're gonna use the Varathane Triple Poly. I think it's water-based. It's like a satin finish poly. I'm gonna put that on there too. Like I said, I'm staining it because the gap between the two sections is only gonna be about this big, maybe 3.5 inches. There's no way for me to get in there afterwards. So I'm gonna stain this now. Let's go. I actually like using just a bit of sponge. I don't know how normal that is. I normally have a little rag to wipe off excess. Wear gloves, obviously. The sponge I feel like does really well with stain. So this is how I always put it on with something small like this. Hopefully it'll show how easy that goes as I do this here. Ooh, those are looking nice. Take a look. It's just such a great color. The camera probably does not do it justice. It is just a really, really great color. We love it. It's one of our favorites. So we'll let both of these dry. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut and stain the two pieces that are gonna basically be creating the box shape. So I've got to cut those little strips, and I'm gonna use the leftovers from the pieces I cut off. These two guys right here. So I'm gonna cut those out of these and then get those stained and ready to go and dry tonight, and then get all of it assembled starting tomorrow. Measure these at 4 inches. That's all we need to hold the height. It's gonna be a little bit taller than the soundbar, but I do wanna have a little bit of room to get it in and out of there. I'm gonna cut this off of the factory cut side to make sure at least one of these sides is exactly perfect. And I actually may run these through the table saw now that I'm thinking about it, but I'll go ahead and mark them both really quick. All right, well, we got the two small pieces stained as well. I had the camera set up, but it was not recording while I was staining them, so there they are. So the two small pieces are stained, and these are the pieces that are going to basically create the box shape. So I've got them all ready to go. I'm gonna let these dry overnight, and then tomorrow we'll get the holes drilled and get everything assembled and take it inside and put it on. All right, so it is the next day. This stuff is dried in really well. I'm going to dry fit the whole rectangular cube thing together so you guys can see how it's gonna look before I glue it. Basically gonna glue it, clamp it, and put some trim nails in it. I was gonna put dowels, but trim nails are fine. With glue, I think it's gonna be just fine for what this is. So let me show you what we're gonna do. All right, remember we've got these two pieces here. So basically, we're gonna have one sitting down here on the end, one on the other end. So this is the shape we're going for. Soundbar slides into this spot with some extra storage on either end for just miscellaneous stuff. And then the top of the shelf is gonna be for the little spot for the Xbox, the controller chargers, the little tiny NES that they came out with a couple years ago, and some other stuff that's gonna sit up here on the shelf just as decoration. So that is the way it's going to look. In retrospect, I probably would not have stained in here, but again, I'm gonna be putting nails and the stain, so a little bit of sand, I think it's gonna be okay. We've got the Gorilla wood glue, same stuff we used on the farmhouse table build. It's been great so far. Check it out, try it if you haven't tried it before. Okay, we've got it all clamped and glued and ready for some nails. I'm gonna have to sand out a little bit of the glue that kind of squeaked out there, but that's okay. So overall, it's turning out pretty cool. For this next step, it's gonna be some 1.5 inch brad nails out of our Freeman nailer. All right, we've got it set to about 85 or 90 PSI. That's where I like it with this in particular nail gun. Check your own nail gun. Sometimes they have settings written on them, sometimes they don't. Just read online. I'm basically just gonna put a few nails through the top into the centerpiece on this side and the bottom on both ends. and I wanted a support underneath to be hidden because on the bottom of it, all the way underneath on the front side, I'm gonna have those pipe holders. So these two guys, these will be up underneath it just for like looks, but they are gonna serve a purpose of holding the weight. But I also wanted to hang this top side to give it some extra support. So I cut a length of 2x2, and I didn't want it to be the full length because I wanted the soundbar to completely hide it from front view. And basically this is gonna mount up underneath, but this is gonna be on the wall inside. And then when I come in, I'm gonna set the shelf on it, and I wanna have some pre-drilled holes ready from up here on the top so I can screw this down to the 2x2. So I went ahead and marked on here with some painter's tape where between this is gonna be on the wall, so I can just easily line it up. And then this is my center mark. So I'm gonna know when I set it on the wall, am I lined up or not? And then I can also go ahead now and pre-drill some holes and get those countersunk ready for when I screw through to this thing inside the house. So I just wanted to explain what I'm doing here and why I'm doing it. Basically, I just want some support here and not just these holding it from underneath where the top, you know, could fall back this way because of the shape of it. It could rock, and it's actually pretty heavy. So I want to make sure it's all secured. All right, we've got the countersinking adapter onto our bit here in the rigid screw gun. I'm gonna run probably about 6 holes down the length of this so that we can get this secured properly when we take it inside. All right, next I'm going to preset these little 1.25" screws or 1.5" screws. These are gonna go in, these are star tip by the way, get that to focus. I'm gonna preset these in just a little bit so that way when I carry it in, they're already in place. Now for the 2x2, I do want to pre-drill because I'm going to be screwing this directly into the wall with some larger screws. So I'm going to go down this, and I'll probably put 5 in this just to give it some good support, kind of spread out. I thought of one more thing I could do now prior to taking it in that would make it easier for me, and I flipped this upside down, and these are going to mount on the bottom of the shelf. So what I thought was, since it's going to be kind of hard to get underneath there, I do want to secure some fasteners. I'm going to use my large square and give myself a straight line off the back of this, and I'm going to just get this where I want it as far as lined up exactly with the back. And I'm going to go ahead and put some screws in it. That way, when I take it inside, it'll be a lot easier to do. Okay, I still have this upside down. I've got both of these on. Those screws I was using, by the way, were these number 6s, 5/8. They did not go through underneath, so they did not come through. And if I really wrench them, they'll actually go all the way through that hole if I like really wrench down on it. So if I just let it be kind of in there, this thing holds really, really well. And remember, it's just to hold this to the bottom. This is the weight is gonna be sitting on this, it's upside down. So I think we're ready to take it in and mark it off and get it hung on the wall. Okay, so we've got this up on the wall, the support. I cut a little notch in the back of it to feed the wires through for the soundbar, because my power thing is actually going to be right above the shelf if we're going to hide with something. So that support beam is in. I've got the level on there to make sure, and I've got this thing ready to go as well. So we're going to lift it up and put it in place. We've got the floor flange is screwed in. I'm missing one screw there. I got to go grab another one. Bottom. And from back here, looks pretty cool. So the sound bar will mount inside of there. Xbox and everything else will sit up on top, so we can get the rest of the desk space cleared up. All right, we've got everything installed up on the wall, and that was just luck there. Thought that worked out pretty well. Soundbar is in there. Xbox, everything is up on top. Got to get something to set right here just to kind of hide that, and I'll get some cord management. But for the most part, I'm really happy with this, considering we just kind of made it up as we went. So very happy with that. All right, well, that wraps up this video. Thanks for watching us make this up as we went and put it together. If you like what we do, please hit subscribe, and the little notification thing apparently works or doesn't work. Who knows? Everybody tells you to do it. Thanks for watching the channel. Give us some comments on things we could have improved or any ideas you have on things we may be able to do on the channel. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next project.